Welcome to a Brainfluence Brief. I'm Roger Dooley. One thing you may notice about the bookshelves in many of my videos is the little Dilbert on the shelf next to a copy of my book, Friction. That little guy has been in every office I've had for 20 years or so. The creator of Dilbert is Scott Adams. He's been writing and drawing Dilbert since 1989, if you can believe it. You'd think after 30 years, Adams would run out of material. Fortunately, corporations and the bureaucrats that run them provide an endless stream of ridiculous behaviors for Adams to mock. Dilbert has been my companion on my journey as a friction hunter. He's constantly ensnared by time-wasting processes and pointless procedures, the exact things I'm always trying to expose. What you may not know about Scott Adams is he's also a persuasion and influence expert. When I was reading his latest book, Loserthink, I nearly fell out of my chair when I found a section about friction and saw my own mantra, friction changes behavior, right there on the page. Adams and I discussed Loserthink in a full episode of Brainfluence, and I encourage you to check it out. Subsequent to that conversation, I sent Adams an inscribed copy of Friction along with a few extras in what I call my Friction Hunter kit. I hope you would get a chuckle out of it. In fact, you'll see that he shared it at the opening of his video podcast that has tens of thousands of daily viewers. This turned into a lesson on outreach and how to help your message reach people and cut through the noise. Please don't try any gimmicky outreach efforts directed at Adams. He specifically says it will never work again. But please do learn what can work even with busy people inundated with incoming communications. Scott Adams' shows are provocative. You might not agree with everything he says, but his insights are always smart and well considered. Here's a short excerpt from his show in which he shares my very limited edition Friction Hunter kit.
So, I want to start with some good news. And a positive thing. Oh, we're going to get to the coronavirus. We're going to get to Roger Stone. But let's do some good news first. So yesterday I got a package in the mail. And I want to tell you about how that went. This is a marketing story. It's a persuasion lesson. Okay? So I get something in the mail and I open it up and it's this box. There's something in it. And something sort of heavy. So I think, what could it be? Now, the first part of the story is, this is a really good box. It's not quite Apple computer quality where you're opening your iPhone and it's like a sensual experience, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's sort of a smooth thing and it just sort of slid open pretty well. And I open it up and there's some packing in there and I have to sort of dig around in the packing. And I start taking out items. And the first one I see is this, WD-40. I'm like, what? Why is somebody sending me WD-40? And then the next thing I take out is this tape. It's a black electrical tape. What? And then the next thing is these goggles. What? Right? And then I get to the real meat of it, this book. It's called Friction by Roger Dooley. Now, you'll see that I just did his podcast, and it's in my Twitter feed. You can find the link to it, so my interview with him. Now, I talk about friction all the time on the podcast, and I think Roger Dooley was, maybe that may have been one of the reasons he wanted to talk to me and interview me, and he sent me his book. Now here's the payoff here. A lot of people send me books. I try to discourage it because my house would actually just be full of books. Because if you can imagine how many authors would like me to mention their book, and it's a common practice to send a book out to other people. Now, I don't know, hundreds of people over my career, hundreds and hundreds, have sent me books in the mail. And usually it's just wrapped in a mailer, and you open it up and there'll be a little note on the inside. And I don't pay much attention to them, and I don't read them generally, and then I have something I don't want to throw away, but eventually I do. So generally everybody fails at that task of getting my attention. But this one caused me to stop and focus, and it gave me things I can't throw away. I'm not going to throw this away, right? And it's a size I wouldn't buy. I actually have WD-40 in the garage, but I don't have this size. So every time I see this, I'm going to say, oh, that's that Roger Dooley book, Friction. And then because the book is called Friction, he's got something about friction in there. And then the goggles, there was a little note, very nice little note that came with it from Roger, explaining that the goggles are so you can see the friction, etc. Now, it's a book, I think, that involves persuasion and friction. I haven't dug into it yet. I hear good things about it. Got great reviews. And here's my point. Look how different the level of marketing skill was in this example compared to basically everybody else. Everybody else. So it was quite memorable. Let me promise you, I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to open a cleverly packaged book and then show it on Periscope. So if you're an author and you just said to yourself, aha, now I know what to do. I can get some attention if I send a cleverly packaged book. It only works once. I'm never going to do this again. Don't send me another cleverly packaged book. It's not going to work. All right. But this was a great job. Roger Dooley, if your book is as good as your marketing, you should all read that book. All right.
If you have an idea to communicate, can you find a way to make it tangible and interesting, maybe even shareable? Think about it and let me know on social media. I'm easy to find or via rogerdooley.com. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more actionable ideas.